What if one wrong setup destroyed your entire life? What if the woman you loved became the reason you lost everything? And what if revenge was the only thing keeping you alive for 25 long years? That's exactly the brutal world of Motor City, a gritty, stylish, and almost completely silent revenge thriller that hits like a punch to the face from start to finish. In the cold and crime-filled streets of 1970 Detroit, John Miller, a hard-working auto factory worker, lives a simple life. He spends his days doing exhausting labor at the factory, and his evenings with Sophia, the woman he deeply loves. For John, life is not perfect, but it is honest. He dreams of building a peaceful future with her, far away from the corruption and violence surrounding the city. But unknown to John, Sophia has a dangerous connection to Reynolds, a ruthless gangster involved in drug dealing, dirty cops, and organized crime. Reynolds sees John as a threat, not because of power or money, but because Sophia is slowly falling in love with him. Jealous, furious, and obsessed with control, Reynolds decides to destroy John's life completely. One evening after finishing work, John receives a mysterious package and casually tosses it into his car's glove box without thinking much about it. He stops at a small local bodega to grab coffee, but when he comes back outside, his car is gone. Confused and panicked, he reports the theft, believing it to be simple bad luck. However, the robbery was carefully planned from the beginning. Police later recovered the stolen vehicle and discover illegal drugs hidden inside. John is immediately arrested and accused of drug trafficking. Despite his innocence, the evidence is perfectly planted against him. Reynolds has already paid off the right people, including corrupt officers and lawyers, ensuring John never gets a fair chance in court. Within months, John is sentenced to 25 years in prison. His world collapses overnight. Sophia disappears from his life. His job is gone. His reputation is destroyed. Friends abandon him, believing he is guilty. Inside prison, John faces years of brutal violence, isolation, and psychological torture. At first, he is broken and hopeless, but as time passes, anger slowly replaces pain. Every beating, every lonely night, and every memory of Sophia transforms him into someone far more dangerous than the man who entered prison. Over the years, John changes physically and mentally. His quiet personality hardens into cold determination. He trains his body, learns how criminals operate, and survives through pure willpower. Revenge becomes the only thing keeping him alive. After decades behind bars, John finally gets released into a Detroit that feels completely different from the city he once knew. The factories are fading, crime has evolved, and Reynolds has grown into an even more powerful crime boss protected by corrupt police and loyal killers. But John is no longer the innocent factory worker Reynolds framed years ago. One by one, John begins hunting down the people responsible for destroying his life. He tracks dirty cops, gang members, and former allies of Reynolds through dark bars, abandoned buildings, underground clubs, and neon-lit streets. Every confrontation becomes more violent than the last. His revenge campaign spreads fear across the criminal underworld. During his journey, John discovers that Sophia's story was far more complicated than he once believed. She was also trapped by Reynolds and spent years suffering under his control. The emotional connection between John and Sophia remains powerful, but time, pain, and guilt have changed them both forever. As John gets closer to Reynolds, the violence escalates into savage hand-to-hand fights, brutal knife attacks, and bloody ambushes. One unforgettable battle inside an elevator against a corrupt cop named Savick becomes a desperate fight for survival, filled with biting, stabbing, and pure rage. Finally, John confronts Reynolds beneath the glowing neon lights of Detroit, where their story first began. The final showdown is raw, emotional, and merciless, not just a fight between two men, but a battle between revenge and redemption. In the end, Motor City becomes more than a revenge story. It is a dark tale about love, betrayal, corruption, and how one false accusation can destroy an entire life. What What makes this movie stand out is its bold storytelling style. The film barely uses dialogue, maybe just a few lines in the entire runtime. Instead, everything is told through expressions, brutal action, atmosphere, neon visuals, and intense music that feels similar to the energy of Challengers. Every stare, every punch, every movement carries emotion. Alan Ritchson absolutely dominates the screen here. He brings raw physicality, but also pain and heartbreak without needing words. You can literally see John Miller changing through the years, shown through different looks and hairstyles as prison and revenge slowly consume him. Ben Foster once again proves why he's one of Hollywood's most underrated villains. His performance as Reynolds is terrifying, chaotic, and completely unpredictable. No long speeches, no dramatic monologues, just pure menace. And after seeing his performances in dark thrillers before, this role feels like another masterclass in playing dangerous characters. The action scenes are savage and realistic. One elevator fight involving Pablo Schreiber is especially unforgettable, filled with knife attacks, brutal close combat, and desperate survival. It's raw, violent, and filmed in a way that makes every hit feel painful. Directed by Potsy Ponciroli and written by Chad St. John, this movie feels like a mix of classic revenge cinema and modern, stylish thriller storytelling. Dark neon lighting, gritty Detroit streets, emotional silence, and explosive violence all combine to create a unique cinematic experience. The film also stars Ennis Kanaver, Ben McKenzie as Kent, Lionel Boyce as Youngblood, Amar Chadha Patel as Singh, and Raphael Cebrian as Athos. Motor City is scheduled to release on July 26, 2026, with a runtime of 103 minutes. If you love revenge thrillers, intense action, stylish cinematography, and movies that tell powerful stories without relying on dialogue, then this film should definitely be on your watch list. So don't forget to watch this movie, and if you enjoyed this review, like, share, and subscribe to CheezeDrama for more upcoming movie updates and reviews.